Welcome to an episode of Godwin Insights. I'm Charles Dainiel, and this is some of my children, my sons, uh,
Josiah, Godwin,
Micaiah.
and Micaiah. And Micaiah, how old are you?
10.
10 years old. And so, anyway, we'll get some of his insights and thoughts on some things, and he's very smart. So I'm glad to have him with us. Maybe he'll take time to do this with us on other occasions too. We want to look into the value of human life, and that is definitely a pertinent topic today because as I've got a graph here that actually show that a lot of people, and I'll put it up there on the screen there so you can see it, folks that are watching. We've actually got a steady decline of people that believe in the sacredness of human life, and that's very significant. As you actually can see, when you take a look at it, there's a steep decline. It's kind of steady all up to about the year 1960. And around 1960, it really drops. And was that the 90%? And when we get down to it's right there on the paper. And we get down to where we are right now. What's the percentage there? So
40%.
40% of people still believe in the sacredness of human life. So when you inverse that result, you're looking at like 60% of folks that really don't. That's like one. I mean, I don't think people consciously think, well, human lives don't really have value, but it's kind of an afterthought that there's been a devaluing of it.
It's the 30 to 40% is the 40% of people that regard human life as sacred, or is that people that don't?
That's the people that do regard it. It goes all the way down to down to 40%. Yep. Going to our graph right here, and we use graphs from Perplexity. We're thankful to Ben Shapiro for making that known to us and the rest of the world. It's actually been a great tool for us, and I'll continue to use Perplexity for graphs and for studies in the future, I'm sure.
Well, over here in my piece of paper, it says 30 to 40% of response in a recent, I don't know how recent it is, Western survey indicate that they do regard the lives of animals equal in worth or us that humans.
This study is talking about the value of human life as it pertains to animals.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, Micaiah, what do you think? Do you think people are of the same value as animals, or do you think that they're more valuable than animals? They're more valuable than animals? Well, according to the survey that Josiah just read to us, out of 10 people, 3 or 4 of those folks would disagree with you. What do you think about that? 3 or 4 out of, if you had 10 people, just random 10 people, according to that survey, random 10 people, 3 or 4 of those 10 would disagree and say, no, people are just as are just as valuable as animals. Animals are on the same plane as people are. Yeah, that seems kind of weird, doesn't it? And kind of surprising. Yep, that's kind of the way that things have gone for us. I've got a study that compares where we are now to where the Nazis, the war-torn Nazi Germany was at the time that, in the 40s during World War II. Right now.
So this is America compared to Germany, World War II.
Yeah, Germany, World War II. Now, what's significant about Germany and World War II is they basically exterminated or sought to exterminate an entire race of people. the Jews and other people that they viewed as an inferior race. And evolution suggests that only the strong survive. It's just the fact of nature that the weak die off to allow the stronger and the better to continue and live. Does that make sense? Basically, they could make the human race stronger by getting rid of those that were inferior. They were removing unwanted specimens of people because they wanted to strengthen the bloodline. Anyway, so with a society that would be willing to do that, or to even turn its head from such a venture as that was, when we compare that society to present American society, the similarities are rather staggering. All right, in America, those who view the universal sanctity of life, present day, is 40 to 50%.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No. I just gave you the wrong number. It's 39 to 43%. Okay, that's people present day that value the human life as safe. However, in the 1940s in Germany, in the same time when they were exterminating unwanted people to strengthen the race, their percentage is 40 to 50%. You might say they had better numbers than we do today, and they were of a mindset that they were willing to move and to remove a whole race of people. So that's actually a scary statistic, that Nazi Germany held that human life was sacred, actually at a higher statistic than even Americans do today. And here again, that's 39 to 43% is now in America. 40 to 50% is Nazi Germany back then. And then you have those that believed in a utilitarian conditional value. Today, there's about 60 to 66% of Americans that see people as having value if they can
benefit society.
Mm-hmm. They can, utilitarian that if you can contribute to society, you have value in America. Mm-hmm. And there's 60 to 66% of Americans that view human life like that, whereas there's about 50 to 60% of Nazi Germans. I say Nazi Germany. What I mean is Germany in the 1940s. Not all, I understand not all Germans were Nazis. It was just the prevailing party. But anyway, it's just really staggering. Here's another one. A Gallup poll showed that 71% believe doctors should be. No, this is in reference to euthanasia now.
Oh, yeah.
71% believe doctors should be allowed by law to end terminal patients' life by painless means if the patient and their family request.
That's more than half.
That's 71% of people think that. So that's out of 10 people. Like if you took random 10 people randomly, there'd be like 7 of those people that would agree with the idea that, yeah, I think if you have a person that's on the road to death and the family and the patient want to go ahead and end their life.
I don't know to what extent, but I know that somehow or some way there is legalized euthanasia in Canada.
There is definitely legalize euthanasia. And in fact, it just recently in the news that they're pushing to move the age down to 12 years old.
And it's a pretty.
I think it was like 18. I'm not. Don't quote me on this. I think it was 18. It was something in adulthood. But now they're moving it down, and it whenever they first pushed for it seemed like it was a well, they always want to present it in a real positive light, like this is mercy. Now people that have chronic illnesses and depression falls in that category. If you have certain conditions that are chronic, you can apply for termination of your life, and they're pushing to actually lower the age all the way down to 12 years old. That means Micaiah, in 2 years, if this passed in Canada in 2 years, you could be on that program. If you had a chronic illness or whatever, you could choose. Elijah
is considered a chronic illness.
Depression? Yes, it is.
Wow. Yeah, depression is.
Yeah. So anyway, that's very very sobering. 66% favor the legality of doctor-assisted suicide. That's again, that's a Gallup poll. 66% favor the legality of doctor-assisted suicide. Check this one out. 53% say doctor-assisted suicide.
Is that's euthanasia, right? Or is there a difference?
Doctor-assisted suicide is it does fall in the category of euthanasia. It's more specific. I guess euthanasia is like a broad a broad term, and then there's different ways it can be carried out.
Okay, so 66, you're talking specifically about doctors injecting someone
that has chose to end their life. Yeah. And 53% say doctor-assisted suicide is morally acceptable. About 40% call it morally wrong. Can you believe that? That's right. This is the viewpoint of it, the morality of it. 53% say that it's morally acceptable, and about 40% call it morally wrong. Like there's only here again, you take 10 random people. This statistic would say that only 4 of those 10 people that you take randomly would acknowledge that doctor-assisted suicide. You know what suicide is? Okay, suicide is where people try to kill themselves. Doctor-assisted suicide would be where the doctor helps the patient kill themselves. Okay, does that sound like something that would be acceptable? That sounds bad, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sounds like Micaiah's got some sense. All right. So, with this statistic, if you took randomly 10 people out of society, only 4 people in society would agree with you right now. Would say that that's not right. Isn't that tragic? It's like, where do these statistics come from? Well, this was a 2025 Gallup poll, and here again, I was able to acquire these statistics through Perplexity. So, I think that when we're looking at these issues, what we've gotten away from in society is a valuing of human life. And we see that in a lot of categories, and I've got a lot more statistics that we could go through, and I don't think that will, because, I mean, I could just belabor the topic. What we'll actually see, though, is that when God was removed from the public schools, which is kind of interesting, the correlation here was in the 60s. What was it, 1963?
I don't remember this stuff.
I've actually got that on these papers. But anyway, if you find it, let me know.
Okay, I got it right here. On June 17, 1963, There's a ruling that mandatory Bible readings and recitation of the Lord's Prayer in public schools violated the Establishment Clause of First Amendment.
Mm-hmm. And they pushed to remove that, and we actually see in the 60s a significant change from uh, from a valuing of human life. We see a uptick in a massive way towards divorce rates. We also see uh, a steep incline of um, extramarital uh, children. In other words, children born out of wedlock, which implies a breakdown of the home dynamic, which is catastrophic. We actually have seen this problem really explode.
Do we have some graphs?
Yeah, I actually do. I'm really running through them fast because
okay.
Yeah. And for the sake of folks watching, I'll put it up there for them to see as I mentioned it. There is one more graph that I think would be pertinent to notice as we're going to be considering the sacredness of human life, and that is the one that shows those that do value human life. And what I have here is a bar graph. Okay. And this actually shows the percentage of people with different backgrounds that view life as sacred by group. Those that have a biblical creation uh, perspective, it's 60 to 93%. Yeah, 60 to 93% um, of those.
The Bible and creation.
Yeah, biblical creation. That is to say, they take a very literal interpretation of the Bible, that when God said, let there be light, and the evening and the morning were the first day, and the second day, and so forth, it was 6 literal days of creation. These people have a very high percentage of valuing of the sacredness of human life.
What was the percentage again?
The bar actually comes up to almost 80, and it says 60 to 93% of those. And then, yeah, it seems like it should be more. Yeah, I was like, really? You believe in these things and you don't believe in the sacredness of life? Okay, well, moving on to the next one is theistic evolution. Do you know what evolution is, Micaiah? Okay, that's good. All right, but it is actually something that you need to know about. For society, when they try to take God out of things, they have to come up with a theory that they can teach to replace God. And what they do is they use evolution to do that. They teach that animals slowly changed into other animals, which slowly turned into other animals that eventually became humans, and actually diverged into all the species that we see today. So your ancestors would be apes, and those ancestors would be some other type of animal.
Then we go back all the way to where it's not even animals.
Yeah, not even animals. Go back to fishes. At some point, your ancestors were fish, and so forth. So, with that type of teaching, you can very easily see how folks would associate the value of human life as the same as animals. And you could also see how folks would begin to not view human life as having very much value, especially if you connect us with animals. And it's interesting that folks that believe that God did it that way, like there's something called theistic evolution, they still have a high view of the sacredness of human life. There's still a large percentage. However, Darwinian evolution, that is the belief.
Atheists.
That's where atheists are. Yep, they're the Darwinian evolutionists. They believe that things came about completely outside the realm of divine uh, intervention. You know, life literally was an accident. Things just happened, and we're just by chance we're here. These have a very low percentage that they view life as sacred. So when you take a look at those statistics and you realize that's the push today, is to replace God in uh, to replace the doctrine that God created with the doctrine that things just happened by chance. You're going to have a larger percentage in society if they swallow that, and they have. This has become a more and more popular view that there is no God. Things just happened by accident. Uh, you're going to have more people that fall in this category that view the sacredness of human life as very low. They're not going to view it as significant at all. And that's scary. And that's kind of where we're going. And next episode, we'll take a look at what exactly makes human life significant, what makes it sacred, because the truth of the matter is, human life is sacred. We're made in the image of God, and human life is special and should be viewed that way. And we'll look at some things that actually prove that. Maybe strengthen your faith, that challenge you if you're not. Anyway, till next time, stand for the truth. Truth will triumph.